My husband and I finally made the difficult decision to leave the United States. It was not an easy decision, and it came from a lot of conversations. But we finally realized we're fighting to stay somewhere that not only is he unwanted, but we're fighting to stay in a place that's just falling apart more and more each day and becoming an unrecognizable place. My husband came here to study English and to be part of everything the United States had to offer, which was a better life, the irony. Let me tell you a few things that I'm also forfeiting as a US citizen that our country fights so hard to protect their interest. I am now forced to go live in another country just to preserve my marriage. This comes with leaving my family behind, leaving my law license behind that took me years and years to get. I'm not licensed, obviously, in another country, so I have to find an entirely new profession and start over entirely. Being a disabled veteran, someone who broke their back and both of their hips in the military,
All right, so why do you have to leave the country? Why are you being forced? That's what I don't understand. Maybe I'm jumping to conclusions, but we'll see if she gets there. But the first thing I'm thinking is your husband came to the United States to learn English, right? Great. So was the plan just to learn English and then leave? So like elaborate for me, what's the problem? Why are you forced to leave? You know the immigration laws, so it's like, all right, you have an opportunity. If you plan to be here for the long term, then you have an opportunity to get your rightful citizenship. So I know people personally that have came to the U.S. and they did it through the proper channels and got their citizenship because they plan to be here for an extended period of time. So yeah, can it be pricey? Can the process be extensive? Absolutely. But if your objective and your goal is to be here as a legal citizen, then there's a certain way you should do things, like, I don't know. Let's see if she can explain, elaborate a little bit more, but I don't know. I'm not following her.
I am now forced to forfeit my personalized care plan that I have worked the last decade to develop with my physicians. I have medications that I take on a daily basis, and the VA does not ship them out of the country. This also just means that our kids will not really have a relationship with my family. How did we get to a place where
Nah, that's the cope. So and to me, like, I'm not understanding, and unless there's something preventing him from getting citizenship here, like, help me understand. Instead of leaving all of that behind, it shows to me your character. How much do you really care about it? So it's like, instead of you correcting measures, getting a citizenship so you don't have to leave your career that you worked so hard for, obviously, or you getting the citizenship because you can actually stay around family and friends. So if you do decide to have kids, you can grow up around in that village. I can understand that. And don't get me wrong, I consider leaving the US at some point to just travel the world. Like, I want to be able to live everywhere. I want to be experience life and culture throughout the globe, not just be stuck in one area. But how she's positioning it, like, instead of, hey, no, I don't want to abide by the laws that were put in place. I don't care if you think it's fair or not. And what I think people need to do is actually go out and travel somewhere. Like, go somewhere to, like, go to a third world country, or go to some of these places where you think you got the freedom you have in the US, you don't. And then there's a lot of things that are compromised when you go to these places. So it's like, we got it, we got it good here. I don't care. Like, is it perfect? Nah, it's not perfect, but we have it really good in the US. And sometimes I don't think we appreciate it, how good we have it, despite how bad things have. And I'm very aware of the history of this country. So don't start with that. I don't care. Especially, as a black man in America, I know the history, but a man that's also traveled, I can tell you we have it a lot better than they're painting it to be.
destruction, the waterfall of destruction is just so normalized. I can't stress enough how much I'm not trying to make this about me as much as I'm trying to shed light for
Right.
those who truly don't get it yet. You should care that your fellow citizens are now being forced to leave the country to stay married. That's where we've gotten.
You're not being forced to leave the country to stay married. All you have to do is he get his citizenship. That's it. Like, I don't know why she's making it so complicated. Like, there's something like a elaborate plan against migrants. What's happened is we've let too many people in the border without screening them properly or going through the proper channels. And what that does is it causes a lot of chaos, a lot of discomfort for people who do spend a lot of their time, effort, and energy and money. And don't get me wrong, like I grew up in Southern California where like the labor backbone of, I would say, that state and a lot of other states are some migrants that come into the country. So like it's not a matter of like judging your character or who you are. It's more so just understanding that, hey, these are the laws. What countries, how many countries can you just migrate to where there's not certain laws that prevent you from doing so? For example, I was watching an interview that I think like the prime minister of Poland or whatever they're called out there, he said anybody coming across the border, you will be shot. Like literally, you're gonna be shot. You come across the border. So it's like, dude, like there's some extreme like measures people are taking, and then you also see the impact. You could check different countries. Like when you're not a cultural mix, then it's a problem. You can't integrate into society. And a lot of people come here and think we should adhere to your culture and your ideology. It don't work that way. Like it, like whichever, like again, I'm all for everybody. I think America's a melting pot, you know. So it's like a mixture of a bunch of cultures. But then when you come to America, you're still an American. If you go to Asia or China, you know, you got to adhere to Chinese culture. If you go to Africa, you got to respect African culture, you know. So I think people are just entitled and spoiled. Like we don't got it that bad. It's what you decide to focus on. Maybe stop watching the news for a little bit and just focus on life and bettering yourself.
And if that's okay with you, what the hell? To stand 10 toes down behind this administration and to support them at the expense of your fellow citizens should cause alarm bells. You should not be able to rationalize that. This is not as simple as some people are making it out to be. You know, this will easily become a channel of watching us start over from scratch. I've got to find a new job in a country where I need to learn how to speak the fluent language and uproot everything I know, just because I fell in love with an immigrant.
This is how stubborn people are. It's just instead of look, to me, if you really like weigh out the pros and cons, you name all the things that she says she's lacking compared to the one thing she has to do to stay in the U.S. and is focused on getting him a citizenship. I don't get it. Like, I'm completely confused. Do you want to, is this just a way of you getting an audience on TikTok? Like, explain to me the reasoning for you doing this. Like, if you ask me, there's so much more lost in the game. You're having to learn a new language, start over for a career path that you probably spent a lot of time, energy, and effort to get into just because you fell in love with a migrant or immigrant. That's not, no, I'm sorry. That's not the problem. The problem is you're stubborn, and instead of doing something and adhering to the laws and understanding that you don't control everything, just do what you're supposed to do and get it done properly, and you both can stay here. That's it. Simple as that.
Stay tuned for our journey and watch me pack up my entire house alone, because I'm also robbed of any help in this process because my husband will be in ICE detention until the time that they drive him from the facility to the airport.
Okay, so I would just like to know, maybe how long has her husband been here? So that's just an interesting situation. It's like, how long has he been here? Did he just come and because of I guess how stringent they are right now, then he just got caught up in the situation? Or is it a thing he's been here years and had time to amend that? So that really matters to me. But, you know, best wishes to her and her husband. They get that all situated. But I mean, again, it's the law. Like, do certain people have exceptions to break the law? Like, who is it? Like, I don't know. Only certain people? You help me understand. So
this is something we got to talk about. United States citizens are leaving the U.S. and going to other countries, whether it's Ghana, whether it's Thailand, whether it's Tokyo. You're starting to see it more and more. This is not a drill. This is happening. And for whatever reason, people are pretty much giving up on the American dream for whatever reason. And what I've personally seen from the videos is everybody's happy. And at the end of the day, that's what you want to be. You want to be happy. You don't want to be somewhere where you're miserable, you're struggling, and it's just killing your vibe. But we really gotta, I think this is something we gotta start talking about. People will come to America because
No, what we need to talk about is the American dream really dying, or are we realizing that we've been fed a life of consumerism? You know what I'm saying? Think about it. Really think about it. A lot of Americans are over consuming things that they don't need. We go to Costco and Sam's Club, we buy in bulk. We have access on Amazon, instant gratification. We can buy whatever we want when we want. Everybody's out here with a $1,200 to $700 car payment because we're taught to just keep consuming. You got Klarna, you got buy now, pay later, you got credit card debt, you got these advanced payday loans. Everybody's in the mind state of being a consumer. It's so bad that when you sometimes like try to talk to friends and family and rationalize like a financial decision, like they think you're insane for not wanting to do certain things that aren't conducive to your finances. It's so normal to just, okay, your lease is up for the car. Let me go lease a new vehicle. You know, it's like, no, why not? If your car's paid off, why go put yourself in that predicament? Because you want the latest model. Every time a new iPhone comes out, do you have to buy that new iPhone? These are $1,200 purchases. We don't think nothing of it, but that $1,200, if you keep compounding that over time, it matters. And I think it's the habits we've had. We've been sold a dream that's a lie, and it doesn't correlate with today's times. At one point, you did have one person and one income in a household could take care of a full family. That's just not the times anymore. It's just not. Regardless if we like it or not, you pay attention what's happening to our monetary system. We're printing so much money that we're debasing the currency. And obviously, when you see inflation, yeah, regardless if you're investing or not, when the dollar is being depreciated and we're seeing hyperinflation over time, it is hard to keep up and keep up pace with the economy. But there's ways to get around it. Like I said, hunkering down, being more wise with your spending habits. Like if we did an inventory on your monthly spend, I guarantee you there'd be holes we could find, an opportunity for you to save money. So everybody complains, but I was like, all right, you're saying that it's impossible to survive, but I guarantee you there's some things that you're buying that you're not willing to compromise or sacrifice because you don't want to be uncomfortable. Nobody wants to be uncomfortable. And that's the problem. Like, because you're complaining, go to a third world country when there's no, like the amount of escape velocity you need to get out that situation is just like unbearable. You don't get it. There's some people that live in such harsh conditions, and we're over here whining when we got access to everything. You're ordering DoorDash, you're taking Uber rides, and then you're wondering why you're broke.
America was what they would say the American dream. And I think the American dream is now turned into the American nightmare. And when you look at these other countries, if you're cultured enough, you'll see that, man, the places are beautiful. They have the same thing, if not more.
I agree with him. See the world, but man, be thankful for what you got, where you're at, man. Everything's about perspective. Comment below. Are we tripping? Should you leave the U.S.? I think there's opportunity going elsewhere, but ultimately, like I said, we shouldn't down where we're from. We should be thankful that we have the opportunities we have. And I say go somewhere less fortunate, and I think you'll be a little bit more appreciative. I'm out. Peace.